Welcome to this Mercury Farms update video on Farming Simulator 19 with me, MrSealyp. I am back on Mercury Farms and this is a fairly quick video. I always say that and then I'm going on for about 35 minutes. This is a map update by JiM, ALiEN JiM, and what I love about JiM and his maps and his mods, and it's the fact he listens to people, and it's like an ongoing mod support, ongoing map support. So people will raise questions, queries, things they like, don't like, and he goes away and he listens and he tries to come up with options to solve those problems, and that's what I love. So we're going to go through a few things in this update. I'm doing this video simply because there's quite a few changes, and the ones that he has made make quite a difference to the game. Sometimes map updates don't have that much of a sort of change, textures and that kind of thing, but this is different. First thing to do, if we look up, that jumbo jet way up there in the sky has been added in. That was the Sussex Farm jumbo that was quite low. There's no sound effect that goes with it because it's very high up. However, that has been added in as part of the update. I just zoom in there. Again, it's a nice touch. It's not low down, it's not in your face, it's not over the top. But you often get them, jets flying over, their vapour trails coming off the back. It's a cool, nice addition. Right, that's the first of them. There are a couple of things that I won't be able to show you, but have been changed. JiM has changed. Poplar bales don't disappear when you enter the sawmill area. They were disappearing. Cow and pig manure was leaking through the walls. I think that was on silos. I think that's what it was. What else have we got? An issue with the 3-door shed placeable, which has now been fixed as well. He has replaced some of the buildings, which were US buildings, to reduce the slot count, because he was concerned the slot count was quite high off the start. So now, with those buildings changed, and there were a couple dotted around, there was a shed, there was one over by the lake. I think he replaced the walls over at the spinnery. The spinnery had walls round it, and JiM said the pillars that went into the ground, they just added slots in that didn't need to be there. So he's replaced that with a fence around the spinnery now. So now the slot count off the start is only 309 if you start from scratch. Or I think I'm on Farm Manager. So if I go into the vehicle menu and garage, yeah, 309. So he's dropped it, I think he said, by about 78 slots he's managed to drop that by, just by changing a couple of buildings, which again, absolutely fantastic. One thing that I like, he's done a few different sound levels, texture fixes. I personally, over at the sawmill, had done a bit of fiddling around here. I bought this plot of land, and I did a bit of fiddling around because I planted trees all around here to make it into kind of a nursery, and I did a little bit of landscaping. The problem was the track that led from the garden centre up to the sawmill you couldn't buy, and you find that a lot on maps. When you get to roads and things, you can't do anything about landscaping right up to a road because it won't allow you to, or you don't own it, and even if you buy the plots you don't necessarily own that bit of road. JiM's made that now, so when you buy this you actually can have the track as well leading up to it. So if you want to do landscaping around that to add in your own paths and tracks and stuff, you can do that. Another fantastic change, absolutely brilliant. Can't fault that at all. We're just going to jump to, actually while we're on that, I should have done it while I was on the menu. Let's jump to the vehicle store or shop, one of the two. We'll go with store, it sounds better. So we're at the vehicle store. He has changed the building round behind here, behind the sell point. This building has been changed again. That was part of the helping reduce the slot count. Absolutely fantastic. What he's also done, and this is around the back, there's a little machine shed, and you wouldn't necessarily know. It does say in the notes, it says he's added the option to hide all removable fences and hedges at the general maintenance hut round behind the vehicle shop grain sell point. So I thought it was around in this building here, but it's not. This little building over here, when you come up to it, there's nothing that actually denotes that. It does say general maintenance, so that is the shed. If I come up to this and press circle, you'll get a frame rate drop. On console it's about 8 to 10 seconds of quite a severe frame rate drop, then it settles. That's the map removing all the fences and hedges that are in the way. So if you look at the moment, you've got a hedge up the top there, and there are the various fence posts and hedges. A lot of people said they wanted the ability to be able to adjust the map, change the map, widen fields, blend fields together without having to go through the rigmarole of cutting all the fence posts down, removing all the in effect the stumps of the fence posts, or using a stump grinder or whatever it might be. Jim put it in there originally because he thought that was kind of more fun, and that was part and parcel of the map, was clearing the land. But you can still do that if you want to, but this option here will mean you don't have to if you don't want to. So if I press circle now, there's a chainsaw sound, and you'll notice now as I'm trying to move the controller, that's gone quite laggy. There's quite a noticeable frame rate drop. That will last for about 10 seconds. Still a little bit laggy. Hang on. And then it stopped. Fantastic. We look up there. Oh, and mind you, that might be the edge of the map, typically. That is the edge of the map, isn't it? Of course it is. It would be, wouldn't it? Let's find a place where there were fences and hedges. And they're now gone from the one place I go to show you, and it's wrong. Fantastic. So, all across here now is open. If we look across the fields here, where you had hedges and fences and all the things that had to be removed to make your gameplay, I suppose, easier, however you want to look at it, they're now all gone. So Jim's given you that option, and I like that. And I always go on about on Guide 2s about options. You can still, if you want to, clear the land. You can cut them down, you can remove the fence posts, and this is an all or nothing fix. You can do all of the fences and hedges but get removed. Look, there's none here. Nothing. We can go right the way across, all the way. Nothing to worry about. Or you leave them all on. You can't go and remove one hedge or fence around a field or another. You go to that shed and it takes them all out, or it doesn't. Now, I'm not sure. I don't think that's reversible. We will just double check that. If I go back up and click on it again, we'll see if that's reversible. To me, that's a major change. You know, the other bits and bobs, you know, having the plane put in, that's, you know, could be considered a fairly minor thing. Texture changes, building changes to allow a kind of a better slot count could be considered minor. That's a big change. If I go back to this and press circle again, I don't think it will go back. I take that back. It is reversible. Got the same 10-second or so frame rate drop. Now we're back to normal, and I think there we go, you can see better down the bottom here. The hedges are back in around all of these fields, as are the fence posts that go with those hedges. That's a big change, and that's fantastic. That's such a clever thing to do, and I like the fact it's, like I said right at the start, is that kind of ongoing map support that Jim provides. You know, I'm not knocking other map makers, but generally speaking, when the map's done, they'll move on to a new one. You might get an update if there's a few glitches or issues straight off the bat. Normally within a week or so of a map coming out, you might get an update to address a few minor issues, and that's kind of it. They move on to the next map. Jim is constantly evolving it, which I think is fantastic, which leads me on to I think it's the last one. Let me just check on my list. I don't want to miss anything off. So the last one then, and this is another big thing I think. On this map originally on FS17, and you probably know if you've played on this map, you've got the ability to buy and sell manure, slurry. You can collect water and sell it, and you can sell fertilizer, seed, pallets at the sell point. Jim gives you that ability to really go kind of that extra mile. And you've got the fuel sell point at the garden centre, but up until now there's been no trailer that will work with that sell point. So what Jim's done again, what Jim's done, you know, as you do, if you go to miscellaneous in the store at the end, and we scroll right across to the end, we've got the Lizard MKD32. That is 49,000, 32,000 litre capacity, and that does liquid or fuel now, not water, sorry, liquid, water and fuel, not water and milk. That one on here in the miscellaneous section, Jim has put in for doing fuel. If we go on there, we've got a few options. You can still go for chrome if you really want to, but if you're going to do fuel, it's got to be kind of yellow or red, I reckon. So we'll go with red, and we'll lease that. We don't need to buy it. Now I've got this on normal economy. Obviously if you put it on easy economy, you're going to make more money. I forgot to change when I came onto this. This isn't my regular Let's Play map. I've done a separate one for this, and the time is still on ×5. Let me just knock that down. There we go. Back to ×1. Around the back of the workshop here, you've got the fuel refill point. I know you can place refill points as well. That's entirely to you, wherever you want to put them. You come around to this hazard marked area. You've got a fuel tank behind the shop, and we can refill this tank up. There we go, full tanker for 40,000, 32,000 litres, 40,000. And if we now drive to the garden centre where the fuel sell point is, we can sell it, which up until now we haven't been able to. And I think Jim was a bit gutted that he couldn't utilise it. The sell point I think was always working, but the tankers that were in game and the small one, they weren't configured for selling. They were configured for transporting and refuelling other vehicles. So Jim just went away and had a bit of a fiddle around and made it work, as he does. Not quite sure why I went around this way, but I think because the way the light's coming onto it, it's going to be easy to see. So there's the fuel tank. This is the sell point for fuel. Drive up. Well, there we go. We can start overloading. We can sell our diesel. Oh. Okay. Oh. So it's my fault. It's because like I say, I came in and I didn't adjust any of the settings, so it's not on. It's on auto engine start, which I don't normally have on. Oh, that's annoying. That's going to change that now. As long as we make more than 40,000, we've made money. I suppose that's the point, isn't it? Right, that's... What? Plus 93,000. Plus the 11. That's 104,000. And it cost us 40,000 to buy. So we made 60 grand on that load. That's crazy. I have got this set on normal, haven't I? Yeah, economy's on normal. Wow. I don't anticipate it always being on that. But, blimey. That's impressive stuff. Okay, so, I think that's pretty much it. I'm just going to whiz past, because this does say it takes water and fuel. Now obviously you wouldn't put water to take and sell to the animals if you've just had fuel in it. But, if it does say it does both, I might as well double check it. Now, one of the other buildings, Jim, so there's a couple of huts here and there, and I think one of the ones he said was changed or removed was down at the far end of the lake. There was like the waterfall or like pipe inlet. Yeah, it's working on water as well, so that'll do water or fuel. Yeah, at the far end of there was a little hut thing next to the inlet, which again I think he removed. That's been changed to a different building to reduce the slot count of the map. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. That's the update. I think some big enough changes that warrant doing a quick video on it. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.